Well, hello everybody, BugEater64 here again, and today we're going to do a flight. And first I want to welcome you to Catalina Island. And what we're going to do is we're going to make three identical flights. We're going to fly from Catalina Island to John Wayne International, or Santa Ana Airport, and we're going to be doing it in each of three sims: XPlane, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and Microsoft Simulator 2024. And we're going to be flying the PC-12. Each version is a little bit different, but we're going to be doing it in VR with the MetaQuest 3. So let's get into the aircraft and get started with the whole thing. I'll show you my settings in each of the sims for my VR, and I'll give the specs on the system I'm using. And so let's get inside. Hope you enjoy it, and let's do some research. Okay, so XPlane 12.1.4, and what we're going to do today is we're going to fly the PC-12, the Pilatus PC-12 from Thuranda, and we're going to fly it in VR if we can from Catalina Island to John Wayne International, which is Santa Ana, California. And we'll see how this goes. I'm using a Quest 3, and once it loads up, I'll show you what all our settings are, and just see what kind of rates we get. First, I'll look at the rates, the frame rates when I get into XPlane-12, and then we'll see what happens to them when we get into actual VR. So we'll let things load up here, and then we'll get going. I am using Steam VR, and the reason I'm doing that is because my other app didn't really want to work. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Okay. So yeah, this doesn't look good, because right now, sitting at Catalina, I mean, it's a good looking bird. And outside we're getting about, looks like 50 frames per minute, 52. Let's get inside the cockpit, and we've dropped down to about 42. So with that, let's go ahead and see what happens. First of all, let's take a look at our graphics setting. Texture quality maximum. Now I'm running an i9-9900K Intel. I'm also using an NVIDIA 4070 Ti Super, RTX 4070 Ti Super. So, and I'm using 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM. So all in all, it's a mid-range system. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop parked aircraft, the boats if there's any between here and LA, and the 3D vegetation. We're also using Zinc plugin. Now Zinc is an alternative to OpenGL. It can be used to work around cases of rendering issues like flickering, and not all third-party things are compatible with it, but we're going to try it with it because I found that the cockpit, when I didn't use it in VR, was almost unreadable. So we'll see how this goes. Now with the 4070, I should be able to run MSAA up to 8, but I'm going to run it at 4. So this is what we've got. Now rendering FSR, I've actually shut it down. And XPlane's supposed to render everything. So cloud quality maximum, shadow quality low, and the rest are high. So okay, with that, let's go ahead and get her into VR. We'll just enable my headset and we'll see what happens. Okay, so we are in VR, and right now we've got really good frame rates because I'm in the hangar, and we're running about it's jumping between 20 and 80. So we'll get inside and get inside the aircraft again. So let me take off my eyeballs and put on my headset. Okay. So this cockpit, first of all, okay, so this all looks like total crap. Plus, I can't get rid of that arrow that's right in the middle. Horrible. Okay, so with that, so we'll just stop this, and because it is not going to be flyable. In XPlane. So we'll see what it is in MSFS2020 and 2024. But this is just unflyable. Okay, so here we are in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and let's take a look at my VR settings. Come on. Okay, and there we have it. I'm using DLSS and quality, so and you can see screen terrain pre-caching is low. Probably need to change that, but anyway, everything else is ultra. Volumetric clouds on ultra. So some of the things, I'm using the Quest 3, so ray march reflections are turned off, light shafts off, bloom off, and my glass cockpit refresh rate is medium. So with that, we'll go ahead and get in the aircraft and give you an idea of how it reacts frame rate wise. My goodness, can't talk today. So let's go back and get ready to get in the aircraft. See you inside. Alright, right now the Pilatus is showing 34, 35 frames per second. And what I need to do now, you can't see it, but because it's showing in the left eye and I'm recording the right eye. So let's see what we can do about that. Okay, so here we are in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Again, we changed the eye. You can see it now. We're getting between about 35 frames. In my Quest 3, everything's looking pretty good. Let's look outside. Okay. So with that, let's see if we can get this thing started. Okay, so let's go ahead and put external power on. Okay, that's looking good. Everything's looking okay. We're just going to see if we can get this thing started and we'll go from there. Okay, let's... Okay. So we're just going to do a basic flight from here. Okay, now Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay. So let's get out of our way and then we'll see what happens. Okay. You do look good in VR, I'll tell you that. Okay, looking a little cloudy down at the coast, but everything's working right now. Looks like we've got yeah, it's now we're not using ATC, but since this is just a test, okay, flaps are down. Okay, so well, looks like I've got to change some stuff on. My rudders are connected to. Huh. Okay. .048, okay. Looks like it's pretty close. Come on. Here we go. That's the one I want. This gives me my terrain avoidance information. And let's see. All right. Let's get going. Whoa. Okay. Landing gear coming up. So it's looking really smooth. It's nice. It's fairly clear day today, so okay, we'll Looking for the pappies. Full flaps. Whoa. Well, wasn't that interesting? We almost needed that fire department over there. All right, so anyway. Okay, so we're just gonna stop it right here. Okay, well, as you can see, when I'm not in VR, I've got between 68 and 70 frames with my particular setup. Now, this is my graphics, VR graphics setup. Same as 2020 in the fact that I use DLSS quality. This is pretty much the same. And then these are my settings. Instead of on high, I use medium. Ground textures in 2024 really aren't much, in some cases just aren't good. So again, light shafts and everything, I turn that off. Same character quality, the guy sitting next to me and so on. I want them ultra. Okay. Hopefully that is helpful to you. Okay, so hopefully things will be better. And this is still update 1, but alright, so we're going to be in the politest PC-12 by NGX, and we're going to do the same flight. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's telling me runway 4. Here we go. Okay, so we'll start the flight and see how things go. Okay. And I don't want that bar up there. This is one of the problems. See this bar here? It just wants to keep showing up. I want to get rid of it. Let's go and pass through for a minute. And it looks like we're getting a solid 40 plus frames, so that's okay. Let's get in the cockpit. Well, everything's looking pretty good here. Why can't I get rid of this? Okay. Yeah, okay. Here, you hold on to that. Okay, so here we go. Okay, external power, yeah, we want that on, we want that on. We'll just turn all this stuff on and hope it works. Okay, beacon. Okay. So this one is a little bit different. Okay. Okay. Oh, it finally disappeared. Thank you. Flaps, okay. Come on. Okay. Alright, let's just see what we got here. Alright. Okay, so looks like we've got to go down to the other end of the runway because it has changed direction. And by the looks of it, we've got an aircraft just floating in the air. Very strange. It's a Cessna 208B, and it's just hanging in the air. Okay. It's so crazy. And here's that control bar again. Nothing like getting rid of immersion. Alright, let's see what we've got here. Okay, airport in sight. It's hard to find. Okay, gear down and locked. Much better than our last landing, which is a lot easier when the yoke is not part of but as per normal, ground textures look pretty much like shit. Okay. Okay. So with that, that's pretty much the end of that. Well, there you have it. We tried it, we flew it, and we landed it. Now, X-Plane, we couldn't do the flight because evidently with my particular settings and so on, we were also in Steam VR because right now the VR desktop is not reading my Wi-Fi, so therefore it's not really working. So there's a lot of things going on here, and we can make some minor changes and do it again. But I just wanted to show what the Quest 3 with the settings I have right now are doing. The one thing I found out in landing the PC-12, I need to adjust the controls in the sim, because it turned out that my yoke and rudder pedals were combined together, so that when I landed, it was a horrible mess. And you could all see that, of course. And then, of course, in the 2024, different settings, and controls worked fine. And as a whole, 2024 now, still waiting for update 2, but update 1, and with the updates that have come in to it so far, is actually, for me, working better in VR than either of the other sims. So take it for what it's worth, and with that, I hope you enjoyed it. I had a very interesting and fun time bringing it to you, and until next time, this is BugEater64, and as always, remember, do as I say, not as I do, but safe flying.